Hello, all, and welcome back to Hot Air with me, Joshua Robert. And on today's episode, it's going to get real. But before it does, if you're a visual person like me, you can head on over to YouTube and watch the episode where you can see my fluffy ass, fresh out of the shower hair, my red eyes because my allergies are absolutely insane, and my cute Dua Lipa shirt. So if you want to watch, head on over to YouTube. And wherever you are listening on your podcast app, please leave a review. Rate the pod, share it with your friends, because this helps me grow in ways that I cannot even explain, because the algorithm and SEO are absolutely insane. So help your boy out. Today, we are going after the muscle gaze. No, I'm just kidding. We're not. But we are discussing a gay pop culture moment that occurred this week. And it highlighted the division that is in the gay community that, for me, I know it's there, but I didn't realize how deep it ran. And let me be clear, this episode isn't an attack on the muscle gaze. I do not want them coming for me, okay? Live your life, celebrate your body. We love that for you. And the truth is that every queer subculture has its little cliques. Cliques? I think it's cliques. We've got drag queens, bears, twinks, leather, femme, and we all form chosen families. But the frustration comes from the fact that muscle gays are often the ones that are idolized in mainstream media and LGBTQ plus spaces. They're the default, the cover, the face of what quote unquote gay looks like. And when that becomes the only narrative, it leaves so many of us feeling unseen. And quite frankly, that includes me. That's what this conversation is all about. It's not about tearing anyone down, but opening space for everyone to feel like they belong. So, without further ado, let's hit it. So here is what happened. A photo went viral on Twitter. There's about 20 gay men, well, actually, there's 18 because I counted with my fingers and my eyes, with ripped bodies, Speedos, smiles. They're standing together at what appears to be a pool party, sun on their skin, and honestly, they're just existing. They're not hurting anyone, but the internet exploded. And when I say exploded, I mean exploded. This has been shared tens of thousands of times. It's got about 30 million views, and I went down the comment rabbit hole. And it wasn't just, oh, damn, they're hot. There was all kinds of comments down there. Things like, where is the diversity? Why do they all look the same? These gays don't represent me. And did I mention they were all pretty much white? There was some tan men in there, but I'm pretty sure they were all very Caucasian, which again is fine. But this photo pops up yearly, or a photo like it pops up yearly. And there was one really funny comment that was like, oh, a group of 20 white gays at a pool party in Speedos with six packs. I guess summer's starting. It was funny, but there was also a lot of comments from people that were clearly very hurt. So it got me thinking, not just about the photo, but about why it triggered so much emotion. It's not the photo itself. It's the mirror that it holds up. A mirror to the hierarchies we've built in our spaces, a mirror to the shame we carry and sometimes project onto others, a mirror to the community we say that we want, but clearly we don't always practice. So, today's episode is all about that. The body politics of being gay, the desire to belong, the heartbreak of being excluded even in our own spaces, which fucking sucks, and the quiet, corrosive force behind it all. Dare I say it? Take a breath with me. Take a pause. The force behind it all, internalized homophobia. I've split this up into 8 little sections, a few little personal stories here and there, and hopefully by the end of this, we can all just love each other. Wouldn't that be super cute and super cool. So let's begin with part 1, the photo and why it hit a nerve. So starting with what we saw, a bunch of shirtless men, again, 18 of them, muscular, white or mostly white, gay men in Speedos, hanging out by a pool, enjoying the sunshine. Like I said, they are not hurting anyone. And this is a photo we have seen thousands of times over and over, right? The Fire Island gays in New York. I think Fire Island is New York or outside of New York. The Circuit Party crew, the boys of WeHo. We've got them here in San Diego. It's a little bit more bro-y here in San Diego, but it's still that same stereotypical white muscle gay, and they all stick together and no one else is allowed. But this time, because I went down the rabbit hole in the comment section, the reactions were far louder. And maybe people are just tired. And quite frankly, I am too. And maybe people are just done pretending that this is the pinnacle of gay culture, because it is not. There's a lot of other diversity in the LGBTQ plus community and in the gay community itself. So again, just because I don't want anyone coming at me, let's be clear. There is nothing wrong with being fit. There's nothing wrong with taking care of your body or loving your body or having fun with your chosen family, okay? That is beautiful. But the problem is that this one kind of gay man, lean, muscly, tan, masculine, often white, is the one we consistently see elevated. They're elevated on magazine covers, in the dating apps, event flyers, and in viral photos like this one that get thousands and thousands and thousands of likes and retweets and comments and views. It's crazy. It becomes a kind of visual monopoly, and it sends a very specific message. And the message is, this is what gay looks like. This is what we celebrate. This is what you need to be in order to belong here. And that is not true. So for the rest of us, like me, or if you're super feminine, or you're fat, or you're a person of color, or you're disabled, awkward, shy, older, working class, neurodiverse, the list goes on. The message from images like this is that you are not it and you don't belong. Part 2, growing up different and our first wounds. Let's talk about the beginning, back to the dawn of man. For many queer people, we experience rejection before we even understand what makes us us and what makes us different. So you remember being called girly before you even knew what that meant, or being told to quote unquote act like a man, or having your voice mocked, your walk criticized, people assuming things about you before you even had the language for it yourself, even before you even knew how to explain who you are, how you felt, how you identified. People were making assumptions and bullying you for it. So we grow up coded as other, and the otherness is dangerous in the eyes of society because danger means different. Different means danger. So what do? We learn to mask it. And not mask as in M-A-S-C, masculine, mask as in M-A-S-K. We learn to mask it. We learn to watch ourselves. We police our voice, our body, and our gestures. Lord knows I have done that a gazillion times, and quite frankly, I still do it. Here is the thing. A lot of us carry those survival tactics into adulthood, but they don't disappear. They morph. They become something different. Into body image issues. They become toxic masculinity. They become shame, and they morph into perfectionism. And all of those things are not healthy. So we start believing that if we just fix ourselves, our voice, our belly, our thighs, our flamboyance, our walk, our talk, all the things, then maybe we'll be loved and maybe we will belong. But we're trying to belong in a society that was built by straight men, not in a society that is and should be and hopefully is somewhere in there the loving LGBTQ plus community, somewhere that we can easily fit in without pretending to be somebody else. But belonging shouldn't be transactional. It shouldn't require erasing who we are. So now it is story time. When I grew up, I was very flamboyant, and I still am. Growing up gay, I was constantly criticized for the things that were just me, things I didn't even really think about until people started pointing them out to me and bullying me for them. So that was the way that I walked, the way that I talked, the way that I dressed, my mannerisms. All of it was picked apart, mocked, or used against me. I thought that once I left high school or moved out of my hometown and stepped into adulthood, things would maybe get a little bit easier and that people would be more accepting. But in many ways, it got harder. It changed, but it got harder. So now I face that same discrimination, just in a little bit more insidious forms, like at Home Depot. If anybody follows me on social media, you have probably seen my Home Depot story. But at Home Depot, I've had straight presenting men. I mean, I can assume they were straight men, that they could have been my dad. They targeted me with looks, laughter, following me around the store, and quite honestly, what felt like an aggressive attack. Although it was subtle, I know what's up because I've experienced it for my whole life. And in my own neighborhood, I see Trump flag waving, truck driving guys cruise down the street, and it's like a warning. We see you and we don't like you. These Trump supporters with their flags in their trucks specifically drive through Hillcrest, which is the neighborhood, to let us know that they are still around and to let us know that they're not really a fan of us. So this hatred does not fade as we age. It just shifts and it hides behind smiles, behind flags, behind fake tolerance. And the worst part, sometimes we turn that hatred inward and we project it onto each other within our own community. So that's really what this episode is about, the pain of never being fully safe. And even among our own, sometimes we don't feel safe. And there's a need for us to break that cycle. And hopefully, after this episode, we can learn a few things about how to break that cycle. Moving on to part 3, which is internalized homophobia, the enemy within. And seriously, though, it's the enemy within. We're going to get deeper into the psychology here because I am a fucking genius. Internalized homophobia is when the homophobic messages we have heard from family, religion, media, culture, they get internalized. It's really quite straightforward. We begin to believe the lie that being gay is inferior, and it fucking isn't. We believe that it's embarrassing or wrong, and it is none of those things. Say it with me. Being gay is not inferior, nor embarrassing, nor is it wrong, and we should be fucking proud because without us, life would be boring as hell. And according to psychologists who study minority stress, internalized stigma doesn't just cause emotional pain, it contributes to higher rates of depression, anxiety, substance abuse, and body dysmorphia in the LGBTQ plus community. Gosh, the body dysmorphia part of it. I can have a six-pack, I can eat healthy, I can go on my bulk and then my cut and get like so ripped for summer, and I will still see something that I don't like, or I will still think I have little noodle arms when everyone else is telling me your biceps look great. Like the body dysmorphia is fucking wild. And back to the internalized homophobia, this manifests in sometimes subtle ways and then also not so subtle ways. Like I've heard the gays say things like, I'm not like those gays because they don't want to be like the flamboyant gays, or I only date masculine guys, or I don't want to be seen as too obvious. Like God forbid you put yourself out there, or he's cute, but too flamboyant. How many times have we heard that? And lastly, I don't want to be associated with the drama, meaning the scene, the clubs, which is fine. Like, I'm not a big fan of going to nightclubs, but I don't not go because I'm not comfortable with the gays. I just don't go because I like to go to bed at 9 o'clock. It's simple as that. Give me the drama. Give me the drag queens. Give me the fun time. Like, that's why straight women have their bachelorette parties there, which is something I'm not a fan of. But anyway, so we built this hierarchy of acceptable queerness, and it always favors those that are closest to straight, cis, white, masculine norms. It's true. And that is not by accident. That is a byproduct of survival and colonization and capitalism and patriarchy. I sound so freaking liberal right now. And in the end, we want safety, but sometimes we chase it by reinforcing the systems that hurt us. And it really makes so much sense living in a world created by straight men where they get to rise and rise and rise to the top. Of course, some gay men are going to try to fit in there just so we can make it by. It's honestly might be a lot easier than just being like me or being trans or outwardly flamboyant. It might be a little bit easier to kind of be on the DL. Moving on, part 4, body hierarchies and why six-packs rule. So let's talk about the body. There is a reason why gym culture is so deeply embedded in gay male spaces. And it's not just because we all change in the locker room and then shit goes down in the sauna. It's not, okay? Part of it is empowerment, reclaiming the body that was once shamed. And I get it. Trust me, I get it. But part of it is performance, performing safety, desirability, and masculinity. So six-packs become status, and muscle becomes armor, and fitness becomes currency. But this currency is exclusionary because not everyone can afford that lifestyle. Not everyone can afford the trainers, the supplements, the time, the resources, and not everybody wants that lifestyle. It is not for everyone, and that would mean everyone would look the same. There's plenty of people that are happy with their body and love themselves, and it could be covered in hair, and they could have a belly, and they love it. Just because we see the six-packs and we like the six-packs doesn't mean that that is all that exists. It's really, it really blows my mind. I'm getting worked up. I need to breathe. Oof, and if I'm getting worked up, then part 5 is going to make it even worse. So part 5, mask for mask culture. It's the new closet. Ugh, really, the mask for mask thing drives me crazy. I'm going to try my best here to just put this out there. No judgment. So straight acting or down low and no femmes. Blech. These words are not just phrases, but they are values. And quite frankly, they're fucking hurting us, okay? I hate it. Pisses me off because here is the truth. Femphobia is homophobia in a wig. And the mask for mask thing, to me, is a little bit homophobic. And by a little bit, I mean a lot of it. It's rooted mostly in misogyny, though. So it says that anything woman-like is weak. And by extension, any man who embraces their softness, their flamboyance, or pink, or has a little bit of flair is lesser than. But femininity has always been a part of queer resistance. The drag queens at Stonewall, the ballroom community, the artists, stylists, performers who shape culture. Without them, and without this femininity, the world would be colorless. So femmes are often the first to fight, and unfortunately, the first to be erased. We have got to stop treating masc like it is a prize. It's just one single way to be, and it's not better than any other. And when I get really worked up about this is on the dating apps, because one of the hardest places to exist sometimes is on the apps, whether it's Grindr, Tinder, Hinge, whatever. You'll see it right there in black and white. Mask for mask, or no femmes, no fats, no Asians, not into black guys, no offense. It's the most offensive thing to just outright discriminate against a certain group of people from your very own community. Like, what is the need for that? Why broadcast your prejudice like it's a preference that you are proud of? I firmly believe you should not be proud that you are only mask for mask. You should not be proud that you do not like black men. You should not be proud that you do not want a feminine man in your bed. If you're not into someone, just don't interact. It's literally the easiest place to ghost someone. It's so easy. Don't respond. So why go out of your way to dehumanize? Makes no fucking sense. And if you can't tell, my voice just went up an octave and I'm fucking pissed. What gets me is that half the time, these profiles don't even have a face picture, okay? We know, it's Grindr, but you're still gonna be freaking picky, really? You're just a torso, or a blurry-ass shadow, or a picture from fucking 1996. So here we are being picked apart by people who won't even show themselves fully. What does that say about them? So, yeah, I would love to say that I've grown past it and that I don't let it get to me, but I would be lying through my teeth. Every time I see something like that, it chips away. It reminds me that I am not butch enough, not masculine enough. I'm not the ideal. And the worst part is that the messages don't just stay on the apps. They sink into the way that we see ourselves and the way that we walk into a room. I often will text my friends and be like, I'm forgetting how to walk again because I feel like I've got a little too much sway in my step. And then I remember, fuck this, just fucking walk. Who cares? But I often get so caught up in being made fun of for the way that I walk, the way that I talk, all those things that I literally forget to walk. And this toxic masculinity, it makes us shrink. And that's why we have to talk about it. I'm out of breath because I'm pissed. But pretending that it doesn't hurt is just another way that we silence ourselves. So I think it's about time that we speak up about this mask for mass baloney. I don't know when I've ever said baloney seriously, but it's fucking baloney, okay? Remove that from your profiles. If you're listening and that is in your profile, you're an embarrassment and you should remove it. Okay, love ya. Before I have an aneurysm, we're going to move on to part 6. Race, exclusion, and white gay culture. We cannot talk about body politics and gay aesthetics without talking about race. In many mainstream gay spaces, from Fire Island to West Hollywood to the Meatpacking District to, what's that place in San Fran? I'm forgetting. You know what I mean. But there's an unspoken standard, and it often looks just like this. White, cis, muscular, middle to upper class, Western fashion, English speaking. So, if you're Black, Asian, Latino, Indigenous, Arab, or any mix of anything in between that is not white, you often feel like a guest, or often a fetish, or an afterthought. And this isn't about diversity for diversity's sake. It's about the fullness of our community being reflected, having it honored and having it celebrated, because we are so much more than white. And look at the world around us. We are not predominantly white anymore. And hopefully it continues that way. There's so many beautiful mixed race people and people of all different cultures and walks of life. And bringing it back to the photo, it's not just about who is in the photo. It's about who gets invited there and who's going to be comfortable there, who feels safe there. That matters, because in this specific circumstance, I can almost guarantee you there were not people of color there and or invited. And if there was probably that one token Black man or one trans person. And most likely other people of color in the trans community or femmes or whatever wouldn't even be comfortable going there in the first place. I know that I wouldn't. Let's move it along to part 7, which is personal reflection and where I have been complicit. And this is the hard part, but it is necessary, and we're going to do it. I have been the guy judging other gays for being too much. I know it. I will say it outright. I have edited my photos before. I mean, who hasn't? But there were times when I would just really go for it. I've really kind of policed the captions that I've been using. I've worried about my tone so that I could feel more acceptable. I've looked down on certain kinds of queerness because it made me uncomfortable, or it triggered something that I hadn't yet thought about or hadn't yet healed or started healing. And we've all done it in one way or another. But the real work starts when we admit that. And I'm admitting that. And maybe you should too. So take a minute. I kind of feel like I'm really judging the muscle gaze here in this episode. And I am sure that some listeners feel the same. And perhaps I'm bitter. I probably am. And maybe this is something that I need to dig a little bit deeper on. And I am okay with that. But I think as a gay man, whatever demographic you fall under, whatever clique or clique is yours, take a pause for a second and think about how you may have discriminated against all of the other beautiful gay people out there. Are you a big old mass for mass muscle jock and you have been discriminatory against the bears? Why? Is it necessary? No, take a pause, think about it, and think about how you can do better. And we're going to wrap this up with part 8, which is reimagining our community. So, what is the alternative here? What could it be? What would it look like to create queer spaces that are rooted in acceptance and not just about aesthetics? Spaces where you don't have to be shirtless just to be seen, and you don't have to be masculine to be desired, and you don't have to shrink yourself to fit in. That would mean inviting in a bit of discomfort. It would mean letting go of all the control that, we're all control freaks, but letting go of control and celebrating our differences. It would mean asking, am I creating space or am I just taking it up? I think it would be really cool and really special to get to a place as a community where we don't feel intimidated by each other. I went to bear night the other weekend with my friends, and although it was bear night, it was overrun by the muscle gaze. And they're the muscle gaze that everyone knows. There's that group that everyone knows their names or who they're dating and their social media, but we don't actually know them because the muscle gaze stick together and they don't really let anybody else into their inner circle. But they were there and they were all shirtless and had their six packs out. And I was like, this is bear night. Like let the bears enjoy their evening. The bears come with their leather harnesses and they have their shirts off. But then I'm like, maybe I'm just intimidated. Maybe I'm just insecure. So whatever my thought process and reasoning was, I was uncomfortable. And I was uncomfortable for a reason because, to be quite frank, the muscle gaze take over and they don't see the rest of us. So what would it be like to go into a space with them and feel comfortable and feel welcomed and feel like we exist and we can all coexist together? Again, am I creating space or just taking it up? And in closing, I just want to remind everyone, this is not a takedown of muscle gaze. I don't want them coming for me. I'm 5'7" and I'm toned. So they probably can't even see me. I'm most likely invisible to them. But this is a call for reflection. That was cunty, but I'm joking. I'm being sarcastic. But this is a call for reflection because the real flex is being vulnerable. It's being inclusive and it's showing up as your whole self and making room for others to do the exact same. And if this episode made you uncomfortable, good. Sit with it. Why did I write this? I wrote, let it stretch you. Let it fist you. I don't know why I wrote that. What a weird choice of words. If this episode made you uncomfortable, good. Sit with it and sit on it, bitch. And if it made you feel seen, I see you. You are worthy. Trust me, I see you. I get it. You're needed. We all are needed in this community, and you are far more than enough. So what is so cool about the world as a whole is how different we all are. And in the gay community, we should be able to let our differences shine. So thank you for being here with me. Muscle gaze, please don't kill me. Just continue to ignore me as you always would do. Okay, that's it. That's the last terrible thing. No, muscle gaze, keep doing you. You look great. You're amazing. I wish I could have a six-pack. I like Doritos and gummy worms far too much, but whatever. So muscle gaze, if you're mad at me, keep your distance. And if you're not, let's think about how we can all do better, treat each other better, and just be more inclusive and more welcoming with each other. We really got, especially now in this day and age, we have to stick together. So until next time, I'm Joshua Robert, and thank you for listening to Hot Air.